Sometimes the body gives very small signals, things that seem simple on the surface, but may actually be pointing to something deeper. Please subscribe to my channel. One of those signals can be changes in your nails, for example, small vertical lines or ridges on the nails. Many people notice them and don't think much about it. They assume it's just age or something minor. But I always recommend taking a closer look and asking a simple question. Why is this happening? Because in many cases, the body is trying to tell you something. Instead of focusing only on the surface, it's helpful to look a little deeper and understand what may be behind it. Let's use this as an example. Ridges on the nails can sometimes be linked to certain nutrient levels in the body. Not always, but often enough that it's worth paying attention. There are 3 nutrients that are commonly associated with this: iron, zinc, and biotin, which is one of the B vitamins. Now the important part is this. Knowing the possible causes is helpful, but the real question is how to understand which one may apply to you. That's where observation comes in. Let's start with iron. When I think about iron levels, I look for patterns. I pay attention to how the person feels and what other signals the body may be giving. For example, do you often feel tired without a clear reason? Do you notice low energy during the day? Do your hands or feet tend to feel cold more often than expected? These are small clues that may suggest the body is not getting or using iron efficiently. Another thing to consider is diet. For example, if someone avoids foods that are rich in iron, their intake may be lower. Some plant foods do contain iron, but the body doesn't always absorb it as easily as from other sources. So the combination of how you feel and what you eat can give useful insight. Now let's move to zinc. Zinc plays a role in many processes in the body, including how the body responds and recovers. When zinc levels are not optimal, people may notice that it takes longer to feel fully recovered after common illnesses or fatigue. There may also be changes in skin condition or even hair strength over time. Another interesting detail is that zinc works closely with other nutrients. For example, it helps support how certain vitamins function in the body. So when zinc is low, it can affect more than just one system. Lifestyle can also influence zinc levels. For example, highly processed foods or unbalanced eating patterns may reduce how much zinc the body receives over time. Now let's talk about biotin. Biotin is quite unique because a large part of it is supported by the balance of microorganisms in the body. This means that factors affecting digestion and gut balance can influence biotin levels. For example, if someone has used certain medications for a long period, it may impact this balance. Some common signs linked to lower biotin levels include nails that feel thin or fragile, or hair that breaks more easily than before. Again, these are not definitive answers on their own, but they are signals worth noticing. Now here is an important point. These 3 nutrients are all connected to how the body maintains structure, including the strength of nails. When levels are balanced, the body is better able to maintain that structure. When something is off, small changes may appear over time. So what can you do if you notice these signs? The first step is not to jump to conclusions. Instead, observe. Pay attention to patterns in how you feel, your daily habits, and your nutrition. In many cases, small adjustments in food choices can be helpful. For example, including a variety of nutrient-rich foods can support overall balance. In some situations, people also consider supplements, but it's important to approach them carefully and avoid extremes. More is not always better. The goal is balance. Another helpful approach is supporting overall digestion and nutrient absorption. When the body is functioning well, it becomes easier to maintain healthy levels of essential nutrients. There is also one interesting detail that many people overlook. Certain food habits can influence how nutrients are used by the body. For example, some foods may interfere with absorption when consumed in specific ways, so being aware of these small details can make a difference over time. Now, I want to come back to the main idea. A small change, like ridges on the nails, may seem insignificant, but instead of ignoring it, it can be useful to pause and ask, what is my body trying to tell me? Because very often, the visible sign is only a small part of a bigger picture. And when you begin to look a little deeper, you give yourself the opportunity to understand your body better and take simple steps that support your overall well-being. That's where real progress begins, not by focusing only on the surface, but by understanding what may be happening underneath. Now let's take this one step further. Once you begin to notice these small signals, the next step is not to rush into quick fixes, but to respond in a thoughtful and balanced way. Because the goal is not to chase symptoms. The goal is to support the body so it can function more smoothly over time. For example, if you suspect that your body may be lacking certain nutrients, one of the most practical places to start is your daily nutrition. A simple question you can ask yourself is this: am I eating a variety of whole, nutrient-rich foods on a regular basis? In many cases, small improvements here can make a noticeable difference. For instance, including foods that naturally contain important minerals and vitamins can support your body more gently than relying only on quick solutions. At the same time, it's important to avoid extremes. Taking very high doses of any single nutrient without proper guidance may create imbalance rather than improvement. The body works best when everything is in balance. Another area that deserves attention is how well your body absorbs what you eat. Because it's not only about what you consume, but also about what your body is able to use. Supporting digestion and overall gut balance can play a role here. When this system is working well, the body is better able to maintain stable nutrient levels. There is also a habit that many people overlook: consistency. Doing something occasionally may not lead to noticeable changes, but small actions repeated daily often lead to better results over time. Now, I want to share a simple way to think about all of this. Instead of asking, how do I fix this one symptom? It can be more helpful to ask, what does my body need more of right now? Sometimes the answer is better nutrition. Sometimes it is more rest. Sometimes it is movement or hydration. The body often responds when we support it in a consistent and balanced way. Another helpful step is to observe how things change over time. If you adjust your routine slightly, give your body time to respond. Pay attention to small improvements. For example, do your nails feel stronger? Do you have more stable energy during the day? Do you feel more comfortable overall? These small changes can be meaningful signs that you are moving in the right direction. And if something doesn't improve, that's also useful information. It simply means you may need to look a little deeper or consider another factor. Now let's return to the bigger picture. Your body is always communicating, not with words, but with signals. Sometimes those signals are obvious. Sometimes they are subtle, like changes in the nails, skin, or energy levels. The key is not to ignore them. It's to notice them, understand them, and respond in a calm and thoughtful way. Because long-term well-being is not built on quick fixes. It's built on awareness, small daily actions, and consistency. So if you take one thing from this, let it be this: when you notice a change, don't just cover it up. Pause, observe, and ask what your body may be asking for. That simple shift in thinking can lead to better decisions and, over time, better results. And often, it all starts with something small that invites you to look a little deeper.